Hello, great people. Welcome back to our channel. Still talking about the latest court judgment on Rivers allocation, which has been halted. Now, interestingly, if you check our video, you're going to see the latest move that will be taken afterward. But however, the opposition lawmakers has decided to dive into the court order halting Rivers State allocation, and you get to hear their position. Now, according to the news, opposition lawmakers have strongly criticized the recent Federal High Court judgment that ordered the suspension of monthly federal allocation to Rivers State, describing it as judicial rascality. The ruling, issued on Wednesday by Justice Abdul Malik Joyce in Abuja, has sparked controversy as it mandates the federal government to withhold Rivers State statutory funds. In a statement signed by opposition coalition spokesperson Ikenga Ugochire, the lawmakers accused the Federal High Court of overstepping its bound to serve what they term the undemocratic interests of individuals loyal to former Governor Nyesom Wike. They argued that the ruling undermines the constitutional right of Rivers citizens and interferes with pending cases at Appeal Court and Supreme Court, which are expected to determine the legitimacy of confident sacked pro-Wike lawmakers who had decamped. The coalition maintained that a move to withhold statutory fund disregards the autonomy of Rivers State, prioritizing political interest over justice. Opposition urged for restraint and a review of the court's decision, stressing that judicial actions should protect the constitutional right of all Nigerians rather than serve political interests. In his word, and I quote, he said, "How can a judge who knows very well that the decamped lawmakers have lost their seats, still go ahead to order for the allocation to be seized in favor of those who have lost their seat, while the issues are pending at different courts on whether they should be parading as lawmakers? You want to use the Federal High Court to undermine democracy and constitutional governance? The issue of legality of these decampment is still in court, and you are rushing to order that budget be presented to them as who? How can you be aware that all the subject matter are before the Appeal Court and Supreme Court, and you still went ahead to attempt to do harm and damage to innocent tax-paying people of Rivers State who did nothing? The Supreme Court have ruled on the sanctity of the LGA and state allocation as a sovereign wealth of the people that can't be seized. As such, funds are constitutional and can only be spent on the authority of that state or local government. If the head of the state or LGA is not spending it well or spending it without necessary compliance with laid down regulation, the Constitution gives you power to impeach such officer if you have the numbers and legitimacy. So because the pro-Wike group knows they have lost the legitimacy to be called lawmakers or perform legislative function, they now rush to court to use the court to attempt to carry out a financial coup against the Rivers people. So after generating oil revenue from backyard of river people, other states will take their own share home, and the people that produce the revenue will starve to death. The High Court wants to please the pro-Wike group, and you think this will bring peace to Niger Delta? The allocation is not a political fund or money meant for Governor Fubara, but official revenue of the entire people that cover their economic, health, security, and welfare need. The pro-Wike group and the Federal High Court Abuja have shown that they are anarchist and anti-people and warming up to ignite anger and confusion that can consume the current democratic setting like the shameful crisis of the 60s and 80s. The president is now going to be at the receiving end if anything happens to the fund of people of Rivers State. President Tinubu should remember that his government in Lagos secured the Supreme Court judgment during his fight with Obasanjo, which barred the seizure of LGA allocation. The opposition not only condemned the judgment, which rubbished the Supreme Court exiting judgment that bars the federal government or any organ of the federal government from seizing any state or local government allocation, but will do anything legally and humanly possible to ensure that the controversial ruling is quashed. Rivers State is the treasure base of the nation, and you can't embark on a journey to starve the people and think peace can be manifested in such an atmosphere of anarchy. Opposition is hopeful that upper courts will quash and throw into the judicial dustbin these pro-Wike judgments, which have become a huge embarrassment to the judiciary today and increase our people's loss of hope in the judiciary. Those were the words of Ikenga, Ugochinyere, and other opposition lawmakers. And this is quite interesting, I must say. Do you think that there is hope in the other courts, as he has rightly said? He says they're going to be taking the next move based on what he has said. Clearly points out that they're going to be taking the next move to, possibly the appeal court. But the big question is, do you think that the big appeal court will say anything different? Because thus far, I have not seen the High Court saying anything in favor of Wike, and appeal court stops it. Don't forget that appeal court, that's where the wife is, and the guy is building houses for judiciary. Do you think that there's any hope?
The fact that they even call him the golden boy of judiciary speaks volume. Well, I guess it's a case of having done all to stand. I think it's a case of let's do all we know legally. And as I'm trying to quote Fubara and Ugochinyere, let's go through it legally. Let them get it to the final conclusion, like Peter Obi will do. Let me get it to the final conclusion. Then it will become transparent to Nigerians and to all how judiciary played their role in this matter. Not to just abort it and they will not tell you. But you did not appeal. If you have appealed, maybe we would have. But if you ask me, this is just my personal view. They let it amount really to nothing, because if there's going to be anything different, you will see it from the way it's being pushed. Femi Falana, the lawyer that is in charge of this case now, I think he took it up some few days back, made an appeal as a look, for jurisdiction's sake, this ought not to be in federal. But the way they answered him clearly shows that they have no intention of returning it to Rivers State, even though by constitution and by law it should be a state-based thing. So you now see that right now, unfortunately, the judiciary ought to be very, very apolitical, but we are not seeing it play out at all. And now, yes, Ugochinyere Ikenga said some unique things, but the question is, will he truly, even when you appeal it, will he truly get justice? Because there's something he said. These guys have defected. They've become. There's a pending case on that. They have not rushed.
Other cases should have whole.
Yes, they would have halted the other one. Then handled this particular one, which has overridden other ones. Because whatever it is we are doing right now, we're looking at the fact that you guys defected. So can we look at that particular one, because that's where other things will stand on. But instead, these guys are looking at Nigerians in their eyes, anyanya korokoro, and say we did not defect. Something that they want on social media, on all the media, in the plenary, they proudly opened up. Amewele said, having gone through the proper process.
Said it.
All of a sudden, that's it. It's Fubara that wants to impeach us. Haba. When you see honorable men acting dishonorably, begin to wonder, how did we get here? But then again, they said that is just your word against theirs, that there's nowhere it is written in the registration of APC in Rivers State that they camped. But then, we usually know that with media, print, and even sworn affidavit, it stands. All of a sudden, are we going to play down on those evidences simply because it doesn't suit those who want it to suit them?
Simply because it is wicked.
Now, let's look at it the way it is. If for any reason it goes south, if for any reason they appeal it to the very end and it doesn't still go in the way of the Rivers people, I'm afraid Rivers people will have to choose their own allocation, because they will not produce. Other states will collect their own.
Do you understand?
And they are suffering environmental pollution, and you say they will not get it. Come on, I don't even know how they even got to this level of even reasoning that that the people of Rivers State will let go of their own resources.
Instead, and everything.
That is, I don't even know. Is it that they have forgotten history so quickly? Have they forgotten how the late Yaradua had to come in and appease all these militant funds? Why do you think that they brought the idea of militant fund, Niger Delta Commission? It was because of issues like this, of unrest here and there in Niger Delta region. They want to take it back to those gory days when nobody knows exactly where the next one will come from. Well, let's see how it plays out. It's actually the time of Bola Ahmed Tinubu to see how he's going to wade into this matter. It's up to him before it goes beyond this level.
I think personally, I just feel that at this point we should forget about any issue of judicial precedents and all of that. Those things in Nigeria does not hold water again. No need to make reference to any case, make reference to this one again. It does not hold water. You want to cross cap it, nothing will happen. All what you just do, run to the man who is in charge of judiciary. They'll cover you. That's just how the whole thing is, because I can't imagine that this whole thing has ended up this way. But however, let's wait to see what Fubara will give us.